Imagine this. You walk out in your garden one day and you realize something crazy is happening. You didn't water yesterday, but your soil is still moist. You didn't see any pollinators last week, but all of a sudden your squash is just bursting with fruit. You didn't plant some of the things sprouting up around you, yet everything does look healthier. Hey everybody, Carol at Almost 2 Acres. Today I'm discussing a subject that's kind of scientific sounding, but biodiversity is a term you need to know because it's something your garden needs so much more of.
So, what even is biodiversity? At its simplest, it just means variety of life. Plants, insects, birds, fungi, soil microbes, even those weird little roly-polies living under your mulch, all of it counts. In a garden, biodiversity isn't just about having a lot of plants. It's about having a lot of different types of plants, plus all the creatures that interact with them. Think of it like a symphony. A single violin, sure, it can make music, but a full orchestra with strings and woodwinds and brass all working together, that's when things get powerful. Here's why biodiversity matters for gardeners. The more living variety you have in your garden, the less work you have to do. Let me show you why. First up, natural pest control. When you have biodiversity, predators show up because there's prey. Ladybugs need aphids, birds need caterpillars, spiders, well, they just kind of enjoy creating human chaos. But the point is, a diverse garden keeps everything in balance. So instead of getting a biblical plague of aphids or hornworms, things stay in check naturally. No spraying, no hand picking at midnight, just balance. Second, better pollination. Different pollinators like different flowers. Bees love certain blooms, hoverflies prefer others, butterflies have their favorites, and don't even get me started on moths and hummingbirds. When you have more flower variety, you get more types of pollinators, and that means more fruit, bigger yields, better harvests. It's literally that simple. Third, stronger soil health. Plants feed soil microbes through their roots, like they actually release sugars and compounds that feed the underground ecosystem. Wild, right? Different plants feed different microbes. So the more plant diversity you have, the richer and more resilient your soil becomes. This is why a polyculture bed, where you're mixing different plants together, often outperforms those perfect single crop rows. And finally, climate and weather resilience. When one species struggles, others step in. Drought hits, your deep-rooted plants survive. Cool spring, hardy greens take over. Biodiversity means your garden doesn't fail all at once. There's always something thriving. So how does this tie into permaculture? Here's where it gets really exciting. Permaculture is basically applied biodiversity. Bill Mollison and David Holmgren, the guys who developed permaculture, spent years observing natural ecosystems, and what they found was that nature never relies on a single species. Natural systems rely on relationships between many different species, all working together. In permaculture, we design gardens that mimic those natural systems. We're talking a multiple layer of plants. You've got your canopy trees, your shrubs, your herbs, ground covers, vines, root crops, all stacked together like a living lasagna. B, habitats for beneficial insects and birds built right into the design. C, plants that actually support each other. Nitrogen fixers feeding heavy feeders, tall plants shading heat sensitive ones, and ground covers mulching and protecting soil. D, and soil that's absolutely alive with fungi, bacteria, worms, and insects all doing their thing. Instead of forcing nature to behave with constant inputs, fertilizers, pesticides, and constant watering, permaculture builds a biodiverse system that, well, runs itself. Every time you add a new species to your garden, whether it's a shrub, a perennial, a ground cover, or even just a bug hotel, your workload drops. Here are some simple ways to add biodiversity to your garden. 1. Plant in layers, not rows. Think food forest, not farm field. Stack your plants vertically so you're using all the space. 2. Choose native plants whenever you can. They feed the native insects, which feed the birds, which protect your vegetables. It's all connected. 3. Mix annuals, perennials, and self-seeders. Let life fill in the gaps for you. Some of my best garden volunteers came from plants I didn't even plan. 4. Add water sources. Even just a shallow dish with some stones in it will bring in pollinators instantly. They need water too. 5. Add habitat. Brush piles, log piles, leaf mold, rock borders. Think of them as biodiversity hotels. 6. Here's a wild one. Aim for 30 plus plant species per 100 square feet. This is called the Mollison rule. The more variety you pack in, the more resilient your system becomes.
So that's the beauty of biodiversity. It's not just about having a wild, messy garden, although mine quite often is, and it's filled with these little curmudgeons. It's about having a living garden. If you want a garden that's more productive and healthy, and honestly, just one that's fun to chase the butterflies in, invite life into your garden. Invite in biodiversity. Until next time, let's get growing.